Hey guys, it's Misty Eyez, and I'm here with an Ask Misty. And this Ask Misty has been asked several times over the past couple years. Misty, are you trans? Now, the funny thing is, I've been very, very honest about everything. I just haven't come out and said, hey everyone, I am a transsexual. But I've been trans. Well, my whole life I've been transgendered, but I've technically officially crossed the transsexual line in 2005, and I officially started hormone replacement therapy 4.5 years ago when my brother moved back to Alaska. But here's my little I'm a tranny story, because I keep getting questions, lots and lots and lots of questions. And it's November, which is National Transgender Awareness Month. And my tranny journey is very complicated and confusing, but I'm going to share it with you because I've gotten many questions, and I wasn't ready to come out publicly for many reasons, and I will share them with you now. All right, so yes, I am trans. I've known that I was trans ever since I was a little wee boy. My first memories of my life are feeling, even like knowing that I was a little girl trapped in a boy's body. Before my actual memories, like I remember certain dates and times and events from being 9 years old, but I remember before that telling my mom, like when I was 4 or 5, and be like, Mommy, I'm a girl. And my mother would always be like, no, you're a boy. And out of my biological siblings, I am the oldest of 5. And when I was 2 years old, my mother had a set of twins, a boy and a girl named Shane and Sonia. Well, when Mom had the twins, I became the super big brother, helping her, like I remember when they were always breastfeeding, and when Sonia was feeding, Shane was napping. When Shane was napping, Sonia was feeding. And then there was no time, and Mom would get naps in between all that, and Mom would sleep on the floor and put me on her back, and I would play with her hair. So I was a good little boy, I guess, and helping Mommy. And if I got off her back, she'd wake up, or if I stopped playing with her hair, she'd wake up, or if a baby cried, she'd wake up. But I've always known, and I remember telling her, Mommy, I'm a girl. Mommy, I'm a girl. Mommy, I want to be a girl. I'm not a boy. And she always played the big brother card, like, no, you're a big brother and Mommy needs you. Well, I wanted to be needed, I guess, and I wanted to be wanted. So my Mommy needed me, and I was there for her. And then right after the twins, Dawn Renee was born, and right after Dawn Renee, Dina was born. And then Mom got her tubes tied. And yeah, so there was 5 kids within 6 years. And it was quick. Anyways, my earliest actual physical memories, I used to put on my mother's brassiere and run around the house all the time in my mom's bra. And I used to put on my mother's brassiere, and I'd run around the house all the time in my mom's bra. Be like, Mommy. Like, I think I was doing Material Girl or Madonna or something. And I would put on my sister's skirt, and I would spin around. I just felt like such a pretty girl in her skirt. I did it so much that my mother threw her skirt away. And I would also take towels, and I'd wrap them around my hair, and then let them be long, and I'd be like, oh look, I've got a long hair. And it's funny because my grandma showed me once before she died. She had tons and tons of humiliation pictures for me when I was an adult, to be like, oh, you were a little cross-dresser when you were little. And showed tons of pictures of me with the towels on my head, like getting in trouble standing in the corner with a towel on my head and my long hair. So I've always known that I was trans, but obviously I never knew that it was an option. I didn't know that this was a thing that people could do. I wish to God I had started taking hormone replacement therapy as a very young child, because I think my life would be very different. But then again, we all are dealt the hands we live. But then again, we are all given the lives we live for a reason, because we have special journeys and special plans and whatever. So I guess I'm glad that I am what I am. But I know some girls like April Chanel and Selena Jimenez, and they started hormones at like 14, and they're very short and very passable. Like it's hard to clock them because hormones stunted their growth and they're fishy. Then came the complications of my stepdad. So I basically grew up a little cross-dressing boy all the way up until my stepdad came into the picture. He came into the picture, and when he came in, he brought the church. And this is about when I was 13. And we were very holy roller, Pentecostal, charismatic. And when you have all the elders of your church praying in tongues over you and screaming in tongues to have you delivered from this homosexual demon, you learn very quickly to act as butch or macho as possible, or at least don't talk about it anymore. So I hid my female desires. But I remember in the 4th and 5th and 6th grade, I would pray to God that I would wake up with a vagina. I wanted to be a girl so bad. And I remember watching a girl in my school, in my class. Her name was Wendy. And I remember Wendy always had really cool hair, and her mom would do like fun ponytails and things with her hair. And I remember I used to watch her in PE class, and she'd run and her ponytails would bob back and forth. And I was very, very jealous, and I wanted that for myself. I'd see the girls swing on the swing sets and their hair would touch the ground, and I wanted it. But heaven forbid you bring that up. I'm a big brother, and homosexuality, and I didn't have a word for being transgendered, but that was definitely wrong too. So I became very, very closeted in my desires. And then comes college, when I went to Oral Roberts University, the world's largest charismatic Christian school. Again, another Pentecostal charismatic school or church. And I actually went there to get delivered. I really felt that God would deliver me of this evil, or this possession, or this demon, or whatever was making me have these homosexual or trans feelings. But the reverse happened. In college, and a lot of this testimony, this part of my testimony, I've told many times in other stories, like my It Gets Better video, or just my general testimony. But I became very suicidal. And I finally realized that God does not make mistakes, and God created me in His image. And a minister of a church really, really, really helped me in realizing that God is not going to heal me. God is not going to fix me, because God made me the way He wants me to be for a reason. And that was to be a gay person. And I finally accepted my homosexuality. And I remember hanging out with some gay friends or people, and I remember some of them were telling, again, I didn't know trans was a thing, but I remember, I don't remember the conversation exactly, but something about I don't have to be a girl anymore, because I was dead set on I had to be a girl. So my friends were like, oh, you don't have to be a girl, you can be a gay boy with a boyfriend. You don't have to be a girl to have a husband. You don't have to be a girl to have a boyfriend. You can have a husband and be a gay man. So I became comfortable, and this was my new normal. I am gay. So I came out of the closet as gay in 1990 something, like maybe 97-ish. I got kicked out of ORU in 1998. And then after I got kicked out of ORU, I went to my first drag show. Now, seeing a drag queen perform on stage was heaven for me. I was mesmerized. I was captivated. I was enthralled. I was over the moon. I couldn't believe this was happening. I couldn't believe that I had to be this. I had to become this. It took a couple years to become this, but then I thought, oh, I don't have to be a woman. I can just be a drag queen. And to be completely honest with you, this was my new normal. This was my appeasing myself. I don't have to be a woman all day, every day. I'm a part-time woman. I'm a diva by night. I'm a boy by day. I'm a superhero, like Secret Identity. And I wouldn't say I became comfortable with this identity, but it was the only thing I knew. So I became comfortable with it. And I remember in the year 2003, I met this girl named Erica Narell. And I was like, Erica, oh my gosh, I want to be a tranny. I want a breast implant. And she's like, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And she was just like, don't do it. Don't do it. And I don't remember why, because I didn't even know her. She's like, you're so beautiful. Don't do it. Don't do it. And I didn't talk to her again for many, many years. And now we're friends. Thinking of this now, I want to bring her up and be like, do you remember that first time we met? You told me not to get breast implants. And now I have them. All right, so now in my life, I am a fully grown adult male. Meaning I am 6'1". I am over 30. Or I'm about 30 at this time, probably. I met a girl named Francesca Richards, who is a gorgeous, I thought, a tranny. And then I realized she's not a tranny at all. She just has her lips done and her, I guess, male pectoral muscles done. Like right here. Just silicone here. And her hips and ass are done. But she lives her life as a man with female hips and ass and, I guess, boy chest, which can be easily pushed up into girl chest. I'm like, that is what I'm going to do. Because to be honest with you, I was terrified of becoming a tranny and failing. I was scared to death that if I tried to pass as a woman, that I wouldn't. I am a 6 foot tall linebacker. Like, I'm very large. And I was scared to death that I would try and fail and people would laugh at me. So I basically started transitioning in 2005, and little by little, I did my lips, I did my cheekbones, I did my boy chest, a little bit, not too much. Oh, well, you'll see, like when I duct tape videos, you can see the silicone on my chest. Then in 2006, I did my hips and my ass. And I would say in 2009, I started full body laser hair removal. And that was my beginning stages of transitioning. In about 2008, my brother graduated with his master's degree and moved down to Fort Lauderdale to live with me. And this completely shifted my entire life. Meaning, holy fuck. I had been so dead set on, I don't need family. I was kicked out of my family, which I've talked about in other videos, like my Alaska video. I was kicked out of my family and told I couldn't come back home unless I came back to Jesus. But then when my brother came down to visit me, and he loved Fort Lauderdale, and he moved here and he lived with me, it reminded me that I really do love family, and family is truly important. And I wouldn't say at all that I went back into the closet, because that is not the case at all. But now I am back into protective big brother mode. And yes, I've had face work. Yes, I've had body work. But I was living full-time as a man and performing at night as a woman. And he was totally cool with that. But I remember we'd walk through the mall or someone, he'd be like, people are staring at you. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, they can't tell if you're a man or a woman. I'm like, okay, does that bother you? It doesn't bother me. And he goes, so I could tell that he was embarrassed and or ashamed of me. So I stopped trying to be overly flamboyant or womanly all the time, or at least during the daytime. All right, so in 2012 is when it all changed. My brother moved home to Alaska. After living with me for about 5 years, and to be completely honest with you, this was a huge midlife crisis for me. It was a huge wake-up call. It was a slap in the face. It was a, what the fuck is going on with your life? This was a moment of clarity for me that I was not happy. And what would make me happy? What do I need to be my real and true self? And with no longer being afraid that I was going to shame or embarrass my brother, I decided to transition. And again, this was a huge secret. I didn't even tell my trans friends, which you saw in a video with me and Nicole T. Phillips. I didn't even tell her. And she roomed with me many times in Chicago. And I was taking my hormones in front of her and not telling her. But I got my acrylic nails. Many of you will remember when I first started getting acrylics. I think it was 2012. I got acrylics, and that's when I started taking hormones. When you see videos of me with acrylic nails, because I stopped wearing press-on nails, and I was like, I don't need nails to be a drag queen. Because it was just too much doing drag every day without nails. Ugh, I love nails. I have to have them. But they were tearing up my nail beds. So I got acrylics. My hair was already long, but I grew even longer. And I started hormone replacement therapy. Still doing laser hair removal. Not much of it now because it's basically done. I started secretly transitioning. Now, I say secretly because I didn't tell anybody. I didn't force it down anyone's throat. In fact, I took my very own advice. I remember years ago, a woman wrote in, or a trans woman wrote in and telling me that she was transitioning and her job would not allow her to transition at work. And she was freaking out and blah, 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 blah. And I said, honey, don't transition at work. What you do in your own time is what you do in your own time, but you need money. She was waiting tables. Go to work as a man. And when you leave, you can put on eyeliner or whatever. But try to be butch at work. You don't have to shove your transition down their throat. You need money. It costs money to be a trans person. Transitioning costs a lot of money, and you need money. Don't shove it down their throat. Keep it a secret. And I said hormone replacement therapy and transitioning in general, it's like watching the grass grow. Before you know it, and I mean before you know it, like 5 years later, 4 years later, 3 years later, depending on your age, everyone's going to look at you and be like, wait a minute, you're a girl. That's when you go to work as a girl. And so I started taking my very own advice for myself. And I didn't tell anyone. I just transitioned on a secret on the DL. And it was a little secret between me and me. But before long, everyone started calling me ma'am. Everyone. Strangers. I'd be in London with no fingernails. Alaska with no fingernails. My mom would introduce me as her son. And then people would be like, excuse me, ma'am, would you like... With no makeup, no fingernails, and no boobs. Like, ma'am, miss. And I'm like, holy crap, my hormones are working. It just totally 100% caught me off guard. That's when I started to be more honest and open about it. Because the reality was, I am much more like Caitlyn Jenner than I am like Jazz Jennings. Jazz Jennings can be on hormones for a year and she's a woman. Caitlyn Jenner been on hormones for 10 years and now she's looking like a woman. You know, like, my body is older and it takes longer. The closer you are to puberty, the faster... My kitty's tickling me. The closer you are to puberty, the faster everything works. And, you know, one day you wake up and you're like, holy crap, woman. But I lived secretly on hormones for like 3 or 4 years, minding my own business, not telling anyone at all. It was nothing to do with them. I still used the men's bathroom, but it was my secret, my story to tell. I know too many girls that have transitioned and then detransitioned because they didn't pass, or it was harder than they thought. And I would not be one of those girls. But to be completely honest with you, it was those cities that I didn't know anyone. Alaska, Chicago, London, and complete strangers, especially people that were not working. Like, I told a story when I was in Einstein's Bagel in Chicago. The lady was like, "Bam, the bathroom's right over here." That's an employee. But people that are just on the street and they're not at their job and they aren't going to get wrote up for misgendering me, were calling me ma'am and miss. And, "Excuse me, ma'am, your fly is unzipped," or whatever. Like, I was like, holy crap, I'm a woman. And that's when I started to become more out and honest and like, "Oh guys, guess what? I'm transitioning." So then I went to London, and again with Michael and Robert, and this was like a pivotal point in my transition. I was like, you know what? I'm going to bring lipstick and I'm going to bring eyeliner, but I'm not going to bring foundation and all that shit. Like, I'm just going to experiment with very soft looks. Do I need foundation? I've had laser hair removal. Do I need it? What if I don't wear it? But I was afraid to do that in public with people I knew. I could only do it with people that were complete strangers I would never see again. What happens if I went to the Tower of London in drag? What if I went to the Eye of London, you know, as a woman? So I started doing my own little experiments before I came out full-fledged in Florida to the people I know. Like, completely. But then it was that weird, awkward stage where I'm not completely full-time, but I've definitely transitioned far enough to where I don't belong in the men's bathroom anymore. So I'm in London, and we were in Bath. So what do you do while you're in Bath? You go to a bathhouse. And these are like Roman bathhouses. These are not like sex bathhouses, by the way. There's steam rooms, saunas, whatever. So the ladies, my friend, me, Michael, and Robert, give Michael and Robert the key to the men's room, and then they direct me to the women's room. And I'm like, "Oh, no, I'm a man." Even though I was passing as a woman, I wasn't being a woman full time, and I didn't want to go into the women's locker room. I wanted to go in the steam room with my friends, and I didn't want to be in there all by myself. No, thank you. I wanted to be in there with them. How was I going to know when they're done? Then I'm going to be bored? No. I remember one time I was in London, and we were having fish and chips, and I were at some restaurant, and I went to the bathroom, and after using the bathroom, I was washing my hands, and an older man walks in and goes, "Oh shit, I'm sorry, ma'am," and then like turned around and looked at the door, and he's like, "Oh wait, I'm in the men's room," and then looked in at me and was like, "Oh, I'll wait outside." I died laughing because he thought I was a woman, and I wasn't trying to look like a woman at all. But again, this was confirmation that, hey, testosterone blockers are working. Estrogen is working. My destiny is coming true. So that's when I realized that I'm passing full time. And it was that weird, awkward situation where you're in Kmart or Walmart or Taco Bell or Home Depot, and you're like, fuck, I've got to go to the bathroom. What do I look like? And you have to analyze, like, what kind of shoes do you have on? What kind of shirt do you have on? Are you padded enough? Are your boobs showing? And it was that awkward situation where I hadn't transitioned fully, but I was still trying to do the boy thing sometimes, but I would get yelled at for being in the men's room. It was just awkward. So right about then is when I met my partner, John. And John, I was very honest 100% with John. I am a TS. I am trans. blah, 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 blah. I haven't had this surgery yet. I plan on having this surgery. I'm not having this surgery. You know, just whatever in our dating life before we got serious. So he knew when, where, what, why, and how. And then, and he was totally comfortable. Like, if I decided not to wear a bra and I wanted to go to Taco Bell and not have a bra on, he didn't care because I still look like a girl. But that stressed me out because if I'm not wearing a bra, what bathroom do I use? So at that time is when John and I started to get serious, is when I completely was like, you know what, I'm gonna throw out all my boy clothes because A, you're moving in, I'm gonna make room for you. And I'm a pack rat. I grew up with the mindset that we were poor and those that waste not want not. So I'm not gonna throw anything away that I could maybe possibly use or need one day. So it wasn't until he moved in that I actually threw away all my boy clothes. And that was a huge pivotal moment in my life. Like, oh my gosh, this is real. But I knew it was happening. I wanted it to happen, but it was scary. Okay, so now I am living full time, no boy clothes as a woman. I go on the RuPaul's Drag Race Drag Stars at Sea last year. Michelle Visage is like staring at me like, cause I'm getting on a plane in a dress. And Michelle Visage is like, But a couple of events I went to in like fishy boy clothes, like girl jeans and a girl t-shirt, but nothing, like just flat chested. Try to be out of drag. Oh gosh. But yes, I hid my transition from most people for many, many years because I was still trying to get on RuPaul's Drag Race. I really, really wanted to get on RuPaul's Drag Race. And I knew that once you go full time, it just isn't gonna happen. And that's the true reason why I said this is my 7th audition. I am no longer going to audition for RuPaul's Drag Race. And that was the year I wanted to get my tits. I was going to get my tits, I just auditioned the 9th time, so 2 years ago. And all my fans were like, oh my gosh, Misty, please don't give up. We believe in you. We love you. We love you. Please don't give up on you. So to be honest with you, I secretly auditioned again the 8th time. And I secretly auditioned again the 9th time. The 9th time was this past year. And this is again after Michelle Visage saw me in my daytime fish mode. Not much unlike Jinx Monsoon's daytime fish mode, except for the fact that I actually wore a padded bra through the airport, etc. She wears like a actual girl wig with a hat when she's not in drag. But still, I knew that RuPaul's Drag Race would look and frown very harsh on me. So my 9th audition, I was like, look guys, this is my last and final audition, and this is why. If you do select me for RuPaul's Drag Race, I will come back to the reunion with my breast implant. If not, I'm getting a breast implant anyway. I do think that you need a trans person on your show. I know that with, I can't remember her name right now. I want to say Harmonica Sunbeam, but that's not right. Every season has had a trans girl spin-off, some of which took hormones during the show and were trans during the show, but nobody was public about it, except for one girl. And I want to say Harmonica Sunbeam, but that's not right. She told everyone on the show that she was transgendered, hadn't yet started her transition into being a transsexual, but in her mind she was transgendered, and of course she left the next day. I don't think that you've had anyone on the show. You obviously, therefore, you should have a person undergoing publicly her transition or starting her transition on the show, talking about the hurdles of North Carolina bathrooms and the struggle is real. And they didn't pick me, which is okay. But yeah, after I did not get selected for season 9 of RuPaul's Drag Race, I officially got my breast implants and was like, deuces. Now, if they ever decide to audition girls with, or trans girls with implants, I would definitely love to audition again. But I don't really see that happening. But as far as my transition right now, I've been on hormone replacement therapy for going on 5 years, almost 5 years now. I've had my lips, cheeks, chest, breast implant, hips, ass, laser hair removal. I still need electrolysis on my face. I still need facial feminization, and I still need some lipo 360. They did not do my lipo when they did my tummy tuck like they were supposed to, and I still need that. Initially, oh, and I'm getting my tits bigger. My tits, okay, let me see if I can show you in this video. This is what my tits were supposed to look like in my brain, which is just a little pushed up. But they're still swollen, and this one's still too high. But anyways, I woke up and I was like, he goes, I know, they're small. My skin was too tight. Like when he was inflating them, my skin would not take any more. It just didn't work. He couldn't put more in. He's like, your skin has to grow and stretch, and your boob has to drop and fluff. And in 3 to 6 months, then you can come back and get more. So hopefully in April, I'll go back and get the size I need or want for my body. It's been a very, very long and lengthy process. It's been very, very hard. Transitioning has been the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life. You think coming out of the closet is hard? Oh my God. Coming out as a trans woman and trying to make it not only emotionally, but financially is beyond. It's challenging. It's stressful. It's difficult, but it's worth it. But anyways, yes, that is my transitioning story. I did find a man that truly loved me and accepted me for the woman that I am, even though I did not think ever. Oh, I also want vocal feminization. I forgot to say that. That's the last thing I want to do, because I was reading something about some vocal feminization people that when they got the intubation tube, they stretched the cords and it basically reversed their vocal feminization. But I definitely want that too. So there's another surgery. I don't remember what number I was on. But I found a man that loved me for me and accepted me as I was. And he keeps telling me I don't need any surgery. But I'm not doing it for him. I'm doing it for me. Somebody did question me and say, I thought you were getting your face done before your tits. Are you getting your tits for John? Yes and no. The reason why I decided to switch FFS and my breast implant was because I thought I needed FFS to pass in the daytime. I definitely do need it to be unclockable, or to be more unclockable, or to be subconscious, like, oh wow, that's a woman. I don't want to look like a supermodel. I just want to look like my sister, or like my own feminine self. But being comfortable in the daytime without even wearing breasts at all, people call me ma'am. So I realized I didn't need FFS. My biggest fear is to be killed by a transphobic hate crime. And that's why I need and want FFS and other surgeries to trick the subconscious mind to be like, oh, that's a woman. But I didn't feel like I needed that now. That surgery is way outside of my price range. It's $33,000 for FFS, not including the hair transplants. But I realized that I need my breast implants because when I'm in Taco Bell or Home Depot or whatever, and I'm standing there looking around like, oh fuck, is there anybody looking at me going into the bathroom? Will I get yelled at for going to the men's bathroom? Will I get yelled at for going to the women's bathroom? My masculine and my feminine, my too butch and my too femme, like, it was just this will be like, hey everyone, guess what? Bonk, bonk, girl. That's the reason I did it. Yes, my husband loves my tits. That's a positive. That is a blessing, but that is not why I did them. Yeah, so there's my welcome to November, the official Trans Awareness Month, and that is my trans journey so far and my trans testimony. And I'm sorry that, the hate mail I received, I know you're a tranny and you're not telling people, and why are you not telling people you're trans? It was kind of scary and rude, and I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to tell people. But also because of RuPaul's Drag Race, like I was secretly going to try to get on it one more time. And when that didn't happen, I was like, you know what guys, hey, Misty Eyez is for real, for real. Now, my question, if you're still watching this video 40 minutes later, name change. I'm going to legally change my name. My legal name currently right now is Dakota. And my middle name is very masculine, and I'm totally going to ditch it. Now, the question is, fans and loved ones and all of my lashes, in your honest opinion, and please help me for real if you're watching still, should I change my name to Dakota Misty and then my last name? Or should I change it to Misty Dakota and my last name? Part of me says leave my first name Dakota because it is my legal name. I don't have to change major documents. My mail will still come. My family, my Facebook, it would just be easier. Part of me says make Dakota my middle name and keep that part of me, but embrace a full transition emotionally, spiritually, and legally. Hey everyone, I'm Misty now. I don't know if I want to take the easy road or not. What are your opinions? Anyways, that was Misty Eyez. Loving you, is easy.